Hello, welcome to episode 235 of Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry, and today I'm sharing 5 life-changing work-from-home habits that save me 10 plus hours a week and help me manage my time with a busy family. Now, I know not everyone here at Learn, Do, Become is working from home or balancing the same family things that I'm balancing, but I'm hopeful that the things I share today will be helpful for you. Now, if you're brand new here, we help people who are overwhelmed by the details of life to create simple systems so they can do what matters most. So today I'm just sharing basically how I've created some systems to make it really work well for me to do work from home, to be able to still be there with my family, have that balance. And well, not every day is ideal and things don't always go perfectly. It goes pretty well. I've been working from home and balancing, the personal and professional for nearly 2 decades. And as I was sitting down thinking, what could I say that could help someone who's maybe either just starting or who's not loving their balance right now? These are 5 habits that really save me time and enable me to love my work. And I do all of this with my STEP Command Central. I'm not going into details of how to use the Command Central in this episode, but I will share at the end how you can build your own if you're excited to do that. Okay, so habit number 1 is I put boundaries around my work time, but I do so with flexibility. You know that if you don't set aside any time to work, it's not going to magically appear. But I feel like the best part of working from home is that I get to decide my best hours on each specific day, and I get to be flexible. And so I like to be rested, and I like to know my family is all settled when I sit down to do my work. But I also like to be able to feel like if someone wants to drop by, like we have 2 children who are living close and, one's in college, one's working full time. If they want to stop by, or if my son wants to talk when he gets home from school, I want to be able to stop and be with the people that truly matter. And I work at home with Eric, and he is very much an extrovert. And so sometimes during the day, he just wants to chat or, talk about something or go outside for a little bit or something. And so I love that. Okay, but having just some type of boundary, like typically I have maybe 4 hours during the workday where I don't schedule anything else. And then maybe I have a couple of hours in the later afternoon when I can get a little more work accomplished. And sometimes I even get up early in the morning and work on that before we go walk Sunny and get going with the day. But having some type of protected time, but keeping it flexible has just made the biggest impact. And the way I do that with my work is I shoot for a specific number of hours per week or specific work that needs to get done that week. So in my mind, I kind of know, okay, here's about what I'm going to need as far as quiet, productive, creative time in order to get this done. And then I work with that. And I create, and I'll share in one of the other habits, how I can make sure I don't just spin my wheels because that's what I used to do. But that really maximizes my creativity and lets me be present with my family and lets me enjoy the freedom of working from home. But it doesn't make me stressed. I don't feel like I need to be sitting at my desk for this many hours and no one can talk to me and I'm cranky and fussy. It's just not like that. It's been a lot easier. Now, that's because I run my own company and I get to kind of make my hours. Maybe if you have client meetings or classes you teach or other things that you do, it might not be as flexible, but I encourage flexibility where you can. And then just one little story that kind of goes with this. When we first had Aaliyah, and I took her to the pediatrician, and, she was maybe 2, and I said, she some days hardly eats anything. And then other days she eats more, but I don't know. She just won't eat. Some days she just wants Cheerios. I don't even know what to do. And our pediatrician said, if you look at what she eats over a few days or over a week, she's most likely getting what she needs because she's healthy, she's strong, there's nothing wrong with her. Don't worry about day to day. Look at the whole week. So I think of that with my work as well. I don't worry about one day. I kind of look at the whole week and shoot to get those specific things done. Okay, that was number 1. Habit number 2 is I make my work as asynchronous as possible. Now, some work has to be done face-to-face. I used to do piano lessons, or I would do specific things where I had somebody at my house, and that, of course, face-to-face, that's more real time. But a lot can be done asynchronously. So in my work right now with email, Slack, voice memos, personalized videos, polls that we can put in our social media groups, all my video and audio, Google Forms. There's all these things that I can do instead of meetings or synchronous client services. And that's actually works so much better for our community as well, because we have a global community and some people are working full time during the day and some people, just have way different schedules than I do. And so trying to create more communication either with our team or our community that's asynchronous gives all of us flexibility. And I'm more of an introvert, and so it takes a lot of energy for me to do face-to-face meetings. So it helps me have more of that creative time and more energy if I can do this asynchronous work. So maybe what you could do is just ask, how could I get the same or a better outcome on this specific project or routine by working asynchronously? It's just a good question to ask, and maybe it won't work all the time, but a lot of times it does. And so like our team, we have one team meeting per month where we're all there, on Zoom, talking, in real time. But otherwise, we are in Slack or just doing emails. And because we all have our command centrals up and running, we can all rely on each other, and we're not needing meetings to make sure people remember what they need to do. So that's been really helpful as well. Okay, so I hope that may be helpful to you. I did read an article in the Harvard Business Review that was talking about how women particularly benefit from asynchronous work. And so, I think men do too, but I just think that's something that we need to think more about, because we kind of get stuck in the mindset that everything has to be done, synchronously. We need lots of meetings. We need lots of FaceTime. We need lots of scheduled appointments. And I just don't think that's the case anymore. And we've been able to have a wonderful time building our Learn, Do, Become community asynchronously. All right, habit number 3 is I create a short, specific list of outcomes for each week. I want to make this separate, even though I alluded to it in habit number 1, because this is where I used to kind of mess up. I used to just keep busy and then hope that my business would profit, okay? So I would do all kinds of things, handling emails, doing whatever kind of came to my mind, putting out stuff on social media or writing blog posts or things. And I thought that it was helpful. And it wasn't like it was bad stuff, but I would keep busy and then hope that I would get results. And what I've learned over time is really how to utilize my Step Command Central, which shows us how to have, routines and calendared tasks as a basic framework for the workday. But then typically to move things forward in any business, we work on specific projects that impact the organization financially. So I took a course years ago where I learned that if I could look at my, quarter and say, what are the real things that are going to make an impact in the bottom line of the business? Where does my attention need to go? These aren't going to be the things necessarily that I gravitate towards or the things that feel fun and easy, but what are the things that, I enjoy? They're important for the mission. They're important for our community and our company, that if I do these, we're going to get results. And so what I do is every Sunday I create my week and I look at my current projects list. And then I identify, 2 to 4 solid outcomes that I plan to finish by the end of that week. Now, for me, sometimes it might look like, I'm setting up a new class or new training, or I'm going to finish this section of a program, or I'm going to record some podcasts, or I'm going to, work on our YouTube channel, or we're going to get some new ads put together, or something like that. So for my online business, it looks more like that. Obviously, yours will be unique, but I think when you can say, okay, here's my calendar, routines, and tasks, those are working for the week, but now what are those solid, specific outcomes that I can count on this week that really will impact the bottom line? And that was so hard for me. I didn't even like talking about money when we first started. I didn't like making any decisions that were financial. That was such a weak place for me. But now I can see that if you want your work and your, community or whatever it is that you're building to thrive, it needs to be able to earn an income so that you can pay for the software you need and pay for the people you need and be able to not get tired. Okay. So maybe I'm throwing that out there for the entrepreneurs in the space, but I hope that's helpful. All right, habit number 4 is to minimize distractions. So context shifting is really, really common, I would say, for pretty much everybody who works from home. And it's also common for us to make ourselves ultra available, because sometimes when you do have a lot of flexibility in your schedule, people assume that you just have nothing to do. And so they'll ask you, oh, can you do this? Can you do this? And so, we've talked about the boundaries, talked about the flexibility and things like that. But I really try not to shift contexts as much as possible so that I can focus. That flexibility is awesome. But when I do finally sit down to focus on something, I turn my phone on the do not disturb or even the sleep mode, because then you can't even see anything that's come through. I close my email browser. I tell my family I'm working, and I do everything I can so that I can just sit and focus, for a couple hours, maybe get up and take a break and go back and work for a little longer. But being able to keep myself from, oh, let me check the weather. Oh, let me check social media. Oh, let me check, this and this and this. There are so many things we can check, but being able to say, nope, I've got routines for those and everything will be taken care of. But right now is my focus time. Okay. And then habit number 5 is I create a variety of spaces where I enjoy working. A lot of times when I'm at home, we have other people in the house kind of coming in and out. And so if I don't always want to be like in the front room or in the kitchen working, because then I'm stopped often. Also, sometimes I just get bored of sitting in one spot. And so even when we had a little tiny house or a little tiny apartment, I had 5 to 10 different work spots. So maybe one's at the kitchen table or one's at the kitchen counter, or I have a desk in like my office area, or we had a standing desk, or I'd sit in a little recliner or go out on the front porch. Or there was this little sunny spot on the carpet in our bedroom that just looked out over a field behind our house. And I would just sit in that little sunny spot on the carpet and did my best work there because I loved the feel of the sun. I did some work in the closet, especially when I was recording podcasts. I did work in the garage. I didn't necessarily enjoy the garage, but it was quiet. I went out to my car. My mom used to call her car her office, but I would sit out in our little minivan. I drive to a park, go to the library. We have a local university that has a beautiful library and several buildings where I could sit. Eric and I even found this beautiful field up in the mountains, and we took our recliner chairs, and on a sunny day in the fall, we went and sat in our chairs and did our work outside, and it was amazing. I felt like I am living my best life. It was so great. And so just having a variety of spaces where you enjoy, and then you can kind of shift from place to place. So instead of having to shift your attention, you can just shift your location, and that gives you something new and fresh, but it feels kind of fun and relaxing. We all know that the world really is becoming more and more flexible with technology and with global markets. And when you're working in a busy family household, it can feel really tricky. I know it's been very tricky over the years. But sometimes as we learn how to maximize that beauty from working from home, we'll see that we really can use our skills and support our families and enjoy the process. So if you're in a spot right now where you're thinking, I am just a big mess and I am jumping from thing to thing and I never have quiet or whatever it is, I just encourage you to build your command central, build your system. So when you sit down, you know what you need to work on, and maybe think about some of the things I've shared today, or maybe other thoughts that have come to your mind as you've heard me sharing, and pay attention to those. Maybe think, hey, I could make my little work areas a little more focused, or I could put my phone on sleep mode, or I could have conversations with my family to create better boundaries. Whatever it is that's going to help you to be able to feel like you get to live your purpose and do the work that you're excited to do, or maybe just that you need to do. And you can know that that work's going to move you forward every week, and it's going to get better and better and better. Okay, so if you are thinking, I would love to learn how to build a command central, we have an awesome resource called How to Start Stepping for free. I will have the link on the show notes page. So go to learndobecome.com/episode 235, and you can learn how to start stepping for free and how to build a command central that can change your life and help you to feel calm and organized. Okay, love you so much. So glad you're here, and we'll see you soon at learndobecome.com.